update on our theme song. The person writing our theme song has now cleared her brain of things in the world such that she could actually begin to think about our theme song.
Well, that is a start, isn't it?
That's one of the steps in the creative process. Is like clear the screen, create the space.
I love it.
I think that's awesome. So hey, let's just do this thing.
You want to start the show? I'll do it.
You like doing it?
Well, no. Did I do it last time?
I don't remember.
I don't either. I thought you did it. But I'll do it. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Enlightened Couch Potato Show. My name is Nicholas Rave, and this is
Adrianne Gunn. We like to join each other regularly, like every now and then, to help people figure out how to watch movies and television for maximum psychological and personal or spiritual development.
Good.
Psychological or
psychological and impersonal.
Yes, development. Hey, I thought it'd be fun for us on this 32th episode of our show. 32th of them. 32th. Yeah. Wow. I thought it'd be great to sort of like timestamp our world. We haven't really done that much. So it's December 12th of the 2020. Mm-hmm. December's that wintry month for a lot of people in the northern hemisphere. It is super bright in the Portland, Oregon, where I'm at. Where are you now?
Where am I? I'm in California, Southern California. And it's not on fire currently, which is just good, like it has been for a while. But we don't really get weather. As a matter of fact, we gave each other an assignment last show about holiday movies. Mm-hmm. And yours is a California Christmas movie. And we're going to talk about that later. Yeah. But it is the season to discuss. So I thought just really quick before we jump into the two movies that we were going to talk about, is there like rapid fire? What are some of the other holiday movies that are like classic for you?
Oh, for me, classic. I love the one where the lady dies. And what's her name is awkward. I don't think I pulled out the folder this morning of the names of things. Well, for the holidays is Holly Hunter. That's not what I was talking about, but that's fun too. Alcoholic returns home and everybody's dysfunctional. It's awful. That's pretty good. But the one I was thinking of is the one with the people in it. Diane Keaton dies and her family gathers, and Sarah Jessica Parker
sounds like a feel-good family holiday.
It's hilarious. Claire Danes just sort of glowing through every scene she's in. She had been disappeared and very smart and at Yale for a whole bunch of years and hadn't been doing any acting, and then suddenly she's glowing in this movie. What the fuck is that movie? The other Wilson, not Owen Wilson, isn't it?
Luke.
Craig T. Nelson is the dad.
What in the hell movie are you talking about?
I know, right?
Is it like, no, I keep thinking of like the movie The Ice Storm, which is super like depressing and like family drama. It's not
actually, it's really funny. Hold on. The Family Stone. Buh. That's what I'll watch.
Nope. Haven't even.
It's great.
I think I've maybe heard of it, but I don't know anything about it. So it's good.
I like it.
So it's good if I'm in the mood for what?
Okay, so one of my favorite styles of film and my favorite tropes is the people returning home. So the holiday movies make sense that you get like people coming home, but I like the indie film version of that where people aren't like perfect necessarily. Mm-hmm. I think this is the son brings his fiance home and he's very certain the family, like they're not going to like his fiance. His fiance is quirky and strange. And so it's the meet the family movie, but like coming home movie in the indie flick where it's an ensemble film and everybody's got ridiculous personalities and lots of collisions and
stuff going I think wrong. I get it.
Yeah. But this one's more like big budget does indie feel. Mm-hmm. So it gets to be sad and real in places that the general holiday movie with these stars wouldn't normally do.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, so there's classics. I mean, I think Die Hard has become a classic Christmas movie for many, 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 many people.
Have you heard in the news? This is on my list. You brought up Die Hard. Have you heard about somebody putting out that they want Charlize Theron to do a Die Hard reboot where she's like trying to fight for her wife? And she's like, I'm in on Twitter. She's like, I'm in, I'm doing it. And then Aisha Tyler's like, where do I co-sign? So the world of people who would get excited about such things are excited about the potential for there to be a Charlize Theron, Aisha Tyler Die Hard.
Yes, please.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that sounds great.
What else is classic for you?
Yeah, or I mean, it wouldn't have to be Charlize Theron either. Like, who were we talking about? Gina Carano? We were talking about Livewire, remember?
Yeah.
No? That doesn't do it for you?
I just thought of Carla Gugino. She's not done action, but I just decided that just similar name, different look.
Yeah, a bit.
No, but like Charlize at least has her foothold in the action.
I want to see Gina Carano get an opportunity to shine. Like Livewire, it was called Livewire, right? Haywire. That was such a great movie, and she did so well. And she's a good actress. Like you can give her a script that can like tailor to her, and like a Die Hard kind of thing would be fucking perfect. And she's so like believable in that role for me. Yeah, that could be really fun.
This reminds me that Zoe Bell, I was reading an interview about what Zoe Bell is up to. So she's a stunt actor.
Yeah.
She was Xena's stunt double. And
she's been everyone's stunt double. Yeah.
Yeah. And now she's a coordinator. She recently coordinated all of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. She is in Colorado. She's had a rough freaking year where like, I think her mother died and then many people died. And then her relationship ended, and now she's in the middle of Colorado. She was talking about, she was just like daydreaming about like returning to New Zealand and just becoming a plumber. And I would watch you like do that movie.
Did you do that movie? Yes, exactly. Yeah. That's the latest Rambo movie, which I didn't see, but it was basically he finally like retires to Mexico, and then he has to come out one last time out of retirement. Yeah. And like a stunt coordinator as that would be awesome.
Yeah. But I'm like, she could do a Die Hard. My favorite one of her things is, I think it's Angel of Death. And I may have talked about this before. It was released as a 10-part webisode thing that you squish together and edit into a movie. So it's like 10 minutes bits that were released on YouTube initially. Like I think it was about 2009 or 10. And it starts, she's an assassin. And a hit goes wrong, and she gets distracted and stabbed in her head. Like one of the opening scenes is like the knife. She grows a conscious. I don't know, and then she's trying to like redeem her past. It's amazing because it's like you don't usually get to see all of the stunts all the way through, and since she's the one who can do all of it, the action is so beautiful and intense. So she could be in a Die Hard.
That would work.
What could be great though is if you get Zoe Bell to do all of the women and people who were in that fight scene thing that became a meme where she's like, I can't play with any of my friends, and then they like beat each other up. Get each one of those people to audition for this Die Hard and throw those out on the internet. That's what I want to see. So everybody who's anyone auditions for this new Die Hard.
And it has to be set in the holidays. Because like if you're gonna reboot Die Hard, like the first, none of the other ones are Christmassy, but that one is. Okay, so speaking of other Christmas, like off the beaten path Christmas movies, you mentioned Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. That one's on my list because my girlfriend hasn't seen it. What about like classic Christmas movies? Are you an Elf fan?
Meh.
Yeah, I didn't. I know there's so many people that are like, this is the best Christmas, and I'm like, it didn't quite land for me.
They're the Lampoon ones, which I probably enjoyed. I think the closest I get is Home Alone-ish.
Yeah, Home Alone's fun.
Past some level of years of growth, I haven't seen it in a couple decades, right? The Love Actually I've probably watched.
What about It's a Wonderful Life?
No.
Do you know the story behind? You've never seen it, not once. No, do you know the story about why everyone has seen it? Because that movie was not popular until it was sort of in, I don't know if it was like public domain or it was so cheap that it's just started getting put on repeat on a bunch of channels, and so people started watching it every year. A Christmas Story, that's another one that was not a big deal in my childhood, but for everybody else that's like the Christmas movie.
Growing up, Scrooged, I would rewatch it for Carol Kane. It was weird because I hated what's his dude. His name's not in my head today.
Bill Murray?
Bill Murray, yeah. So I hated Bill Murray. You hated
Bill Murray in general or just in that movie?
I hated him in Scrooged and the Groundhog's Day movie. Those two.
How do you hate Bill Murray? Who hates Bill Murray?
Well, I don't hate new Bill Murray.
Okay. Ghostbusters?
And I dug him in Ghostbusters, and there was something about that era of Bill Murray where he thought he was just ahead of his time about thinking about how great he was. We weren't ready for that. It's kind of like in those in-between moments where people like me still really love Journey, but everybody's kind of like, oh, it's not as good as you think. And then, you gotta wait till it comes back around. So I think it's just like too something. I liked him in Stripes, like 80s Bill Murray, but there was something very
Groundhog Day Bill Murray is like my peak Bill Murray for me. There's another not as well known, it's not Christmas related. Is it? There's another Bill Murray that's not as well known. It's called I gotta look it up now. Damn it. IMDb.
For the record, I have Saturday brain a little bit.
Is that something
about Saturday brain is like, I'm gonna play some music, I'm just gonna lay around, I'm gonna go for a walk, and not like I know all the names of the people and the associations to things. Got stuff on here.
Normally I'm pretty good at this, and I am do you like the Bill Murray Rushmore, who's that director? Life Aquatic, Wes Anderson. Do you like that version of Bill Murray?
I might have to revisit that. Is it Wes Anderson?
Yeah.
I don't know that I quite that landed in the right version of my personality.
So I'm gonna throw out a Bill Murray recommendation for anybody listening. It's a little known movie called The Man Who Knew Too Little, and it is a very farcical, in a similar way to the way you like Noises Off and that kind of thing. It's just goofy, over the top, and it's this moron like being stupid and somehow finding his way through all of these ridiculous situations. I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's
Mr. Magoo.
Great. Yeah, it's got a little bit of that, but it's got this like, I don't want to spoil the plot line. It gets set up fairly early. So the premise is he thinks that he is being treated to like an interactive show about being a spy, but then it turns out that he actually gets mixed up in a real espionage situation, but he thinks it's fake, so he's acting like everything's not real, and it's fabulous. I remember laughing very hard at that movie.
That is amazing. Here's what I can say that might make sense from our last episode. So the Scrooged and Groundhog Day, Bill Murray reminds me of Bill Murray thinking like Chevy Chase about himself in those years. And that level of like as he's doing his thing.
That's interesting. I've never got that impression from Bill Murray. I definitely get that impression from Chevy Chase. but Bill Murray has always seemed a little more, I don't know, maybe we just hit it at a different time in our lives.
Well, there were years where no one gave a shit. Like, I don't think those movies did as well as he really wanted them to. And they ended up doing better once everybody was like, oh my God, Bill Murray. And Bill Murray came back with the Wes Anderson weird shit. And everybody's like, hey, we're sucking his dick because he's awesome. Like,
he is.
Well, he's no Jeff Goldblum. I'm just going to say.
Bill Murray, I don't think he's trying to be Jeff Goldblum. But I got a special place in my heart for Bill Murray. Like he has this kind of almost like Buddhist comedian philosopher kind of thing that I really appreciate. He does stupid humor sometimes, but it's always got something smarter going on. It's a little bit Jim Carrey for me, but I know you have your own opinions there too. So
yeah, it was a weird thing because wasn't Jim Carrey's career starting at the same time that those Bill Murray movies were like thrust in the world?
About that time. Like the early 90s, I guess.
And Jim's humor was built and borrowed a little from David Alan Grier, and that's cool too. But like his was different and fresher than the Bill.
Yeah.
Bill was a different old school, which I might have been at a level of being annoyed at.
You were done with it at that point?
A little bit. I was like,
I think it might be because I'm younger too, because like I didn't grow up with Ghostbusters and like I've never even seen Caddyshack, and a bunch of other of those like classic Bill Murrays. So that might be part of it. Is I wasn't like Bill Murray'd out by the time I saw Groundhog Day, which I still think is probably the best Bill Murray movie. You want to talk about our movies today?
Well, we can. Here's some things I think we should maybe just check in on.
Sure, do that first.
Okay, so in the world of things going on, there's a television show with a Hawkeye who is an Asian woman, and she had a birthday, I think yesterday. That's a thing that's happening. There's going to be a new Hawkeye.
Oh yeah. So we're talking about the Marvel announcements and the Star Wars announcements. We'll talk about that too.
Yeah, we'll just shout these out.
All the stuff from Marvel got announced. So it's like 9 different shows or something. So
okay, you know more than me then.
Yeah, so they dropped the teaser trailer for Loki. They dropped so that premise is that evil Loki, before he goes on his redemption journey, that version of Loki died. But evil Loki, the one right at the end of the first Avengers movie, he escaped. And now they're doing a show about him. And who the fuck knows what that's going to be about, but it looks interesting. I am probably most excited about the WandaVision one, which is the one with the Scarlet Witch and Vision, Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen. That looks weird as fuck. So they're doing this like I Love Lucy thing, and you don't know what's going on. Like part of it's in black and white, part of it is done in front of a live studio audience.
What?
It's a fucking Marvel TV show, and they're doing it like an old school sitcom. And the idea is, I think that Scarlet Witch is like losing her mind, but she's so powerful that she's like changing reality, and like, but it looks off the deep end cool.
And of course you want, when you're going nuts, you want the most powerful AI to come with you.
Yeah. That'll be great. That you're in love with.
Right. He has beautiful. Is it skin? He's got great. I'm just into what people say to you. You have wonderful skin tone vision.
Coloring, like maroon and yellow, and
so pretty.
So there's a Hawkeye. You mentioned that there's a Hawkeye TV show that is basically going to be about, I think, his daughter becoming Hawkeye, that's what I thought the plot line was.
Nice.
There's the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is all about like Captain America's two best friends. But that one's cool because they're actually bringing back a villain from Captain America Civil War, which was not very well utilized, and they're going to bring him back and really let him flex a little bit. They're also, I'm very excited about the She-Hulk TV show that's been announced.
I saw that sort of on Rothlo's Instagram.
I hope that's going to be good because She-Hulk's a really interesting character. She's like super sexually aggressive in the comic books. And she's like really strong. So I want them to play with that. I think there's an actress who was vying for the part and she didn't get it, but she was like, that's why I want the role. And I can't remember her name.
I just imagined who's the one from the singing movies? Is it Rainn Wilson?
Rainn Wilson's from The Office.
No, okay, sorry, that's a dude. Who's the hilarious New Zealander or Aussie? She was a large woman in those like singing movies, the lip singing movies, or the like a cappella singing movie. Shit,
I don't know what movies you're referring to.
I don't have names today.
Is it like Pitch Perfect or something?
Pitch Perfect. So the hilarious Australian or whatever. I just saw her as She-Hulk, but I don't know her name today. I don't even know the lead lady's name. I don't know the name of the movie. I have Saturday brain.
Anna Kendrick?
Anna Kendrick's a tiny lady who's funny and in it. And then
I've never seen it, so I don't know. So what else? They announced, as far as movies, they announced the one that was the most surprising to me because I did not think this was going to come now is the Fantastic Four.
Rebel Wilson.
Marvel's finally gonna. Oh, Rebel Wilson. Okay,
it was a
Rainn Wilson. Yeah. Okay.
Fantastic Four.
The Fantastic Four. We'll see how that goes. I'm really excited about the new Doctor Strange, that has Sam Raimi directing, and it's supposed to be the first Marvel horror movie. And they're not, I mean, it's still going to be PG-13, so it's not going to be like crazy horror, but it's supposed to be scary.
Right. Didn't Raimi do Evil Dead?
Yeah.
As well as like Xena and the Spider-Man.
And Spider-Man, the first two, well, three. Let's not talk about the third one. But those are some of the greatest superhero movies still to this day. So bringing him into the Marvel universe. Plus, they've announced the new the new Spider-Man movie, the third Spider-Man movie.
Oh, they did.
Tom Holland. They announced that, but the cast list is insane. So Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are both going to be in it.
What?
And Jamie Foxx as Electro, and a bunch of other not Claire Danes, Kirsten Dunst.
Interesting.
Is going to come back. So obviously they're doing like a multiverse kind of thing.
Yeah, are they going to do the like live action Spider-Verse? An attempt
I want to see them do. I think they're going to do it well, and it does kind of go. Didn't Into the Spider-Verse just do this like as the most perfect movie ever? Like,
yeah, it's insane.
You're not going to do better than that. But the idea of like getting to see Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland all like interact, that's pretty fucking cool. So I think that'll be fun. Unless they try to pack too much into it, which makes me nervous.
Yeah.
That's what happened to the last third Spider-Man movie in a trilogy. The new Thor. I don't know if you know anything about this. So the next Thor movie,
it maybe being. I heard rumors about a female Thor.
Natalie Portman is coming back, and she's going to get the hammer.
If you're listening to this, I am making a very diagonal squinty eye face.
You're not happy about this.
No.
No?
No.
Well, she was in the other movies, right? So she was the love interest. And then that character in the comic books becomes Thor when Thor, spoilers, I guess, dies.
Yeah. So that is canon, at least.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna stand on my what's the thing where you like really believe in something? There's a saying for you
die on the hill.
Die on the hill. I'm dying on the hill of I really, really want athletic women kicking ass. And I don't think or coming up with a conceit that's believable if they're not.
Well, but she's superhuman. Like, I mean, she's gonna, like, the point is that when she gets the hammer, she's going to have the powers of Thor. So she can wield the hammer and stuff. So, like, I mean, to me, I don't find her less believable than Charlize Theron. Because, like, did you see Black Swan? Like,
no.
She can work hard. Like, she did 6 months of training with top ballet dancers in the world to get to the place where she actually looked believable as a world-class ballerina. And so if she's gonna like I just hope she work trains for this role, I think she will. Yeah.
And I want them to choreograph in such a way that it makes sense. Because you and I, we've both seen Salt, and it was awful.
Yeah.
Like, Angelina started too skinny anyway, and then she was frail, and then suddenly she's like punching a Russian, and we're supposed to believe that like, and I get it. It sounds like I'm body shaming, and I don't like if you have less weight, and I'm just going with physics. Now I know that ballerinas are freakishly strong and a lot stronger than people who look bigger. So I'm realized that there are leaner muscles that can do some fucking things, and I want it to be believable. And like watching Wonder Woman with my ex, and she's like, okay, I get that she's half god or whatever, but couldn't they have found an actual athlete for that? And I hadn't even gone on any of my rants.
Yeah,
and it's like it's annoying because you're like, she had been hanging out with like rugby. She was like on a national rugby team, and like human females with actual fucking muscles that wobble.
Hey, this is why we were talking about Gina Carano. So like, I'm not arguing with you.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's in the story, you can write it so that it makes sense. Here's my example. I don't have a problem with Trinity in the Matrix, Carrie-Anne Moss kicking ass, because it's in the Matrix. So like the whole idea is it's all the power of your mind and all this. So if they give her superpowers, like Spider-Man doesn't have to be big. We know that he's like strong enough to like hold his own against the Hulk for a few minutes, because even though he's tiny, because he has spider powers. So if they give her Thor powers of, you have the powers of Thor, like fine. I'm fine. I think it'll be fine.
I hope it works out, and I hope they make it make sense. And that's
Christian Bale is playing the bad guy. That's really exciting. I'm excited about that. Like, I want Christian Bale to do like chew some scenery, man, because he's a great actor.
Cool. Just now, so I've been yelling, and I could do this as a different show, but I've been kind of yelling for a few months, maybe a couple years. Are there going to be any Asian superheroes that aren't typically there's that happening? Where's that happening?
There's a movie coming out called Shang-Chi, or the Legend of Shang-Chi or something like that. And he's going to be fighting the 10 Rings, which is a really big comic book villain. It's like it's like an evil organization, like one of the evil Avenger kind of groups. And he's like the greatest martial artist ever. Like, that's his thing, is he's the greatest martial artist ever. And it's being made by an Asian director. They've got like Hong Kong Kung Fu legends doing the martial arts. And it's like, they're definitely good. They're doing it right.
Cool.
It sounds like.
I don't know. I heard that Batman is now black in the comics. Somebody's writing a comic where Batman is black now.
My view of comics, like the comic world, is anything that you could ever imagine might happen has already happened, and probably multiple times.
It's like a big deal. Recently this week, somebody fantastic director writer is writing Batman as a black person. So Ruby Rose quit Batwoman.
Yes.
And so there's Ryan. They're filming it now. Someone's going to find the Batsuit and then take it on. They're creating a new character. She was from Was it Javica? Javica? I don't know how to say her name.
The actress, you mean?
Yeah, she was in not Sweet Valley High. What is the thing of the Archie comics? Not Rushmore. What is the Archie comics show? The new one. Riverdale.
Oh, good job.
She was in Riverdale.
Yeah, I was about to have an aneurysm.
The new Batwoman. People are ready to hate it.
Yeah, people hated Ruby Rose in it too. I mean, I heard the show wasn't very good, but like,
you know what? It was surprisingly much better than I thought it was going to be. It was actually the villain Alice is freaking amazing. One of the best DC shows villains, has real trauma. The acting is freaking superb. Rachel Scarsden, I think is her name. So she's still in the show. That's the only reason to watch it.
It's one of those things where like the female Ghostbusters movie, when that came out, there was so much stuff around that like there was a ton of people who were just against it because they were truly misogynistic. Yeah. I love all those women. They are fucking hilarious. Yes. Every single one of them has made me cry laughing at various times. That's just a shitty movie. It's not that I would have been fine with the Ghostbusters with all female cast if it was a good movie, but it's not. They're just retreading the same stuff and they're doing it worse and they're doing it more slapsticky and there's no stakes. I just like, you got to make a good movie first and then
if I were going back in time and they're like female Ghostbusters and Sigourney Weaver is still in it.
Oh, please. Right? Yes.
Been a different kind of stuff. I kind of hated about that movie that the funniest character, I don't think I understood any of the lines that she said outside of her face. I think I have to go back, watch it, turn on the closed caption to find out if she was as funny as other people were laughing about. What is it, McClinton?
Is Kate McKinnon?
Yeah, or whatever.
Yeah. She did have a weird voice that she was doing.
Good on her. I was in an echoey theater and I was like, I bet that was funny. People are laughing.
I'm just saying, like, all those women are brilliant at what they do, and that movie was beneath them. And it's not their fault. Like, they did the best they could with what they were given, and I mean that happens with a lot of movies. So awesome. So there was also a bunch of Star Wars announcements, which I'm less excited about because I have been fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 3 times. I don't want to play anymore. But like, The Mandalorian has been really fun, and I have enjoyed the absolute crap out of that show. So if they're handing the whole thing over to our Iron Man, God damn it, chef, what's that guy's name? We're so bad at this.
What's happening? We should stick to Wednesdays. Wednesday brain.
Hold on, I'm gonna get it just a second. It's Jon Favreau.
He's doing all of them?
Jon Favreau created the thing and is show running it, and then Dave Filoni is also like a Star Wars like super nerd, and the two of them together are doing amazing work. And it sounds like finally Disney's kind of handing it over to them, because don't ever let J.J. Abrams near Star Wars again, please. But there's a bunch of really interesting. There's things that could be interesting. So Patty Jenkins, Wonder Woman.
Okay.
She has just announced that she is making. So they do this teaser trailer. Did you see it?
No.
She sees rollerblading for some reason on a runway, and there's a voiceover. It's her, and she's like, I've always loved going fast. And like, you can go watch it. I'm going to paraphrase. I've always loved going fast. It's probably because my father was a fighter pilot. And I used to go and watch all these planes take off. And she said, it's still to this day the most exhilarating thing I've ever experienced in my life. And when my father died in the line of duty, flying planes, she was like, I've always wanted to make the greatest fighter pilot movie ever made. And she said, I've looked at a lot of different stories and I've never found one that was right. And she's like, I found it. I found something that allows me to do 2 things that I really want to do. And then she puts on an X-Wing helmet and walks off camera, and there's a squadron of X-Wings sitting on the runway. And then it announces that she's doing a show called Rogue Squadron, which used to be a video game and a series of books about X-Wing pilots in the Star Wars universe. Nice. And Patty Jenkins is going to do it. So Wonder Woman was great. Like the last part was the ending and climax was a little weak, but everything else about it was really fun. And that movie was solid, right? She knows how to make a good action hero kind of movie. And if she's really passionate about this, cool. Yeah. I'll watch it. So they also announced that Rosario Dawson is going to have a spinoff where she's playing Ahsoka Tano, who she just cameoed as in the Mandalorian, and she was wonderful. So again, fingers crossed. Hopefully that'll be good.
Nice.
That means they're probably going to bring a extended universe Star Wars character named Thrawn into it, who was one of my favorite characters as a teenager because I read all the novels because I was a super nerd and I spent a lot of time in my room alone. So that's happening. And then there's a couple of other Star Wars things that I'm just like, nope, don't care, not interested. We'll see. Yeah, people are excited that Katie Sackhoff is in Mandalorian. I got to those episodes. She was great. I mean, small role, but you know what's funny? When you go and you look, so that character is from the animated series, the Clone Wars. I never saw it, but if you actually look at the character, like it's a dead ringer. It looks like they made that animated character to have Katie Sackhoff play it in live action. That's funny. I also heard a really interesting interview. It was just a little clip with Katie Sackhoff saying that she had never met Gina Carano. And that she ended up before the show, and she ended up. They were both sort of coming up at the same time, and then they ended up having the same agent, and they ended up getting pitted for the same roles. That makes sense. So she said she had it in her head that Gina Carano hated her. And she said that at one point she left that agent and went to another agent, and then Gina Carano ended up with the same agent again. And then they ran into each other, and she was like, she saw her and was like, uh-oh. And she didn't know she was going to be there. She said Gina Carano squealed and came over and hugged her and was like, I love you so much. You're so amazing. And she's like, are we best friends? Did we just become best friends? Like, she's like, I thought, like, this is so stupid. For years, I've thought you hated me because we were competition. And she's like, this is so stupid. Like, you're amazing. I'm amazing. And now they're in a show together. And like, that was such a good story. Cute. Oh, gosh. I love that. Yeah. Holy crap. Well, we don't have a lot of time to talk about our let's do it. Movies. Do you want to switch over? Yeah. That was like our news roundup. I think it sounds like that I spent a lot of time looking into this. I really didn't. I just was like, I just have a memory for these guys. It's pretty good. Okay, so I was asked to watch Muppets Christmas Carol. Classic holiday movie for my family. It is one that I've watched almost every year for a long time. Yeah. So a lot of people say it's their very, very favorite. I was seeing that on Facebook. So when you asked me to watch, I'm like, all right, I think it's possible I've seen it. I'd seen it before, but I don't have that memory. I've probably seen scenes. So one of my concerns was whether it was going to just be the Muppets playing stuff or it was actually being the Muppets. And as I pressed go, I was concerned that I was going to have to watch Miss Piggy be really freaking abusive, because Miss Piggy is fucking abusive to Kermit. Horrible. They have the worst relationship ever, and it gives me cringies so deep. She's violent and Kermit, you could do better, man. And it's a little sad because it's not like my mother wasn't, she didn't hit my dad. It was not dissimilar. It was not dissimilar to my tiny, scrawny, adorable dad, and my mom being a lot. And the whole, my mom was a bit beautified and lots of wigs, and she'd put on 8 layers of makeup before going outside, and everybody was mesmerized. Oh my God, your mother made an appearance. And I'm like, I scored 20 points in this game just now.
It's cool. Yeah, my mom showed up and sat there. She's pretty. Anyway, so
yeah, Kermit is definitely like a broken man a little bit.
It's so bad. Well, she like literally knocks him across the room.
Yeah.
And calls him shit. Oh, it's hot. But they were just playing characters. So I was like, when we got there, I was just when we got to the scene where Miss Piggy's
that's one of the reasons I love it.
It was so adorable. I did not anticipate that it was going to be as spooky as it was.
Right? So the fucking Ghost of Christmas Future is freaking terrifying. Like the long, creepy arms and the no face. And like, I've the hair on the back of my neck is standing up right now as we're talking about it.
Yeah.
And the music and all that. Oh my God, it was so good. And that scene. Oh, there's a cut song.
I heard about it. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, so the scene when they go Ghost of Christmas Past, right?
Yeah.
So Michael Caine goes back and his girlfriend breaks up with him. There's a song that she sings to him.
Oh God.
That is gut-wrenching. It's like pull your heart out, show it to you. And I can get that it fucks up the pacing a little bit if you're just making bunnies.
But it needs to be there.
So awful, and it's so good. Like every time we watch the movie, I pause it and go to YouTube and play that song so we can see it as the director's cut.
That makes sense. So I was like, yeah, I was gonna watch with a friend, and then my friend was like, oh, I thought we were doing Thursday, and it's like, no, I have to do it because it's homework. And so then I'm alone. I'm like, this movie's too fun for me to watch alone. And I was concerned, and then I'm like, cool. I've got to watch a fun movie. That's fine. And I press play, and then there's like, oh, okay. Fucking singing vegetables. Wait a second. I'm not in the state for singing vegetables. Goddamn, is it a bunny? The cutest fuck bunny that comes up and sings the carol?
Yes.
Breaking my heart. It's so good. I also cried when Kermit and the
Tiny Tim
are singing their doopity doop up the goddamn.
And then the Christmas Future when they go to the house and Tiny Tim's not there anymore. And like, I'm telling you, that movie hits me harder than any other telling of A Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Like, it's because I love all these characters and they're so fun and lighthearted. And Gonzo Gonzo's always been my favorite Muppet character.
Yeah.
But as the narrator, like he has so many. Him and Rizzo, Gonzo and Rizzo are so good together in this.
Yes.
That like when he grabs him and is like cleaning the glass and he's like, "Thank you for making me a part of this." There's so many good lines and just silly humor about like Rizzo going through the bars and like you can go through the bars the whole time.
That's so good. Yeah,
I love it.
I like that they went with a different level of physical comedy than just smashing people into things and like crashing. I actually don't think I fully understand the turn. Okay, first of all, the giant jolly Christmas past guy.
Christmas present.
Present, you're right. Okay, so
the creepy little child is Ghost of Christmas Past.
That's fair. Yeah, I get that you just want to hug him. It's like, ooh, are there hugs? Can I don't even like beards. Can I get into the sloshy hug of your swooshy? What?
Yep.
But I think I may have accidentally looked at a text at the point where Michael Caine's character is now singing and joining in. And I'm like, I don't think I quite understood Scrooge's turn with that character as well. Like, where's the moment and where does it build? Because he's super all in. And I don't think that, I think he turns earlier than any other Scrooge story, like the Christmas whatever Carol story. They tend to turn around Tiny Tim and not.
Yeah, earlier. No, you're right. He is ready when the Ghost of Christmas Future comes. And I like that, where he's like, because that, speaking of Enlightened Couch Potato, I find that there are a lot of moments like that transition from Ghost of Christmas Present to Ghost of Christmas Future, where he's like, I am terrified of what you're going to show me, but I'm here, show me. Yeah. And like that openness and readiness, I think it's because in the Ghost of Christmas Present, he goes and visits his family, and they're like making fun of him, which is the thing that like it pokes at him that he's the horrible monster that they're all. And then they go to Cratchit's house, and there's a lot of stuff there that I think is part of the turning point for him to see, like, because he says they're so happy and they have nothing, and then I don't think there's much else that happens with the jolly, and maybe it's just the song. He's supposed to make the transition during the song.
It's interesting because the guy shows up in the dude's house, and then you see Scrooge starting to sing and dance before he's seen his family, and before. So it's interesting. It feels like there's something that's happening earlier, and I don't know where it comes from. I do want to check in because I know you have to go. If you want to like go out on this movie, or if you want to transition, we don't. It's like 7. I can
take a few extra minutes here, and if you're done with Christmas Carol.
Yeah, I think those were my notes. It was way more fun than I anticipated, and I can dig it. I can get why people are behind it. It's also interesting because if we wanted to, we can talk about why Christmas Carol, that storyline, is effective as transition, because we are both hypnotherapists.
Yeah,
and it follows a lot of our techniques.
I have had a lot of thoughts about this because on the one hand, I think the Tony Robbins created a therapeutic intervention called the Dickens process. Yep. That is literally about Ghost of Christmas past, present, future, for what would happen if you don't make this change, and what would happen if you do make this change. And it's pretty effective. It's not one that I use on a regular basis, but it does work. But I also have a big question mark of what exactly is the moral of this story? Because is the moral being rich is bad? Because I kind of get the impression that that's a little bit of what they're going for, is that they're saying like he's not generous, but like if you listen to what's the subtext? The subtext seems to be a lot of shaming stuff about making good financial decisions, right? Like if you're a landlord and everyone in your apartment complex stops paying you, are you supposed to be like, well, I don't want to evict them, so I guess I'll just go bankrupt. Wait, what? Hold on. Because he was an asshole. Sure, I get that. But there's something I kind of want to read the book. Never read the book, and I wonder if there is something missed, like some subtlety that's missed in the movie adaptations.
Well, I think the settings of a lot of Dickens stuff is the top of the Industrial Revolution, where there are these people who are making tons of money, but then you have child labor, and like they're sort of creating a middle class, kinda, but there's a lot of business decisions that are made at the expense of the health of other people. So there are people working 12 hours a day, all of the days. And so there are people making vast amounts of wealth at a time when there's like vast amounts of poverty. And I think it's about miserliness, right? It's about having wealth that you don't share even with your own family, or you don't have. The focus is on creating wealth, but not living. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think maybe what we're talking about here is like a third point in the triangle. So there's like miserliness on this side, and like irresponsible on this side, and then there's something else up here that is actually, maybe call it conscious capitalism. Like, I know that's a term that gets thrown around, so maybe that's the moral of the story. I just find that it often gets oversimplified to rich people are bad, you should give all your money away to poor people. And that is like, to me, that's like a masturbatory fantasy of poor people. It's like, this is like, yeah, I always knew that fucking the guy was an asshole. Yeah, exactly. Like, there's a movie I haven't seen called The Man Who Invented Christmas. That's supposed to be about Charles Dickens writing this, and it's supposed to be about how Christmas was not really a big deal before then, and like so many of this Christmas spirit idea came from that book. Like, Charles Dickens like created Christmas as we know it to a large extent.
And it's a very interesting.
And Coca-Cola invented Santa.
Here's the funny thing: of you've got somebody who's very, very wealthy who's having people work probably harder than they need to for the overworking, underpaying.
Yeah.
And what they want is they want to go celebrate a holiday. And in a lot of the movies, the holiday that they're celebrating is this other capitalist, commercialized endeavor. Like the sadness we have for them not being able to overly indulge in buying toys and shit for their kids. Yeah, it's weird.
My point is, it's a muddy morality tale. It's not super clear, and it bills itself as being very simple and clear, but when you actually think about it a little bit, it's like, wait, hold on, this has to be more complicated than like this is black and white.
Right.
Anyway, you wanna switch over?
I don't know how much time would we have for Mixed Nuts?
We can go another 10 minutes or so.
Okay, so then my assignment for you.
I watched a Steve Martin movie called Mixed Nuts, which I have not seen before. I love Steve Martin, been a huge fan. I'm trying to think of what I first saw Steve Martin in. It might have been like Father of the Bride or something like that, which is not like peak Steve Martin for sure. Yeah. But I think that like that's what my parents were watching, and I saw Steve Martin, and then they started introducing me to stuff like The Jerk and Steve Martin is a goddamn national treasure.
Rewind a bit. This is an Ephron sisters screenplay. So Nora and Delia Ephron both participated in writing this, and Nora directed it.
The cast list is fucking insane. And I, by the way, think I noticed somebody in there that I don't know if you know that this person is in the movie. But yeah, the cast list is nuts. It's Rob Reiner. No, did Reiner direct it?
He's in it. Nora Ephron directed it.
Oh, Nora Ephron directed. Okay. But
I know it's just two actors that are in it that nobody knows is in it, and they're amazing.
It's so I wrote down, wow, this is dark. That was one of the first things that I wrote. Was like, it's about like people working in a suicide helpline place where they're terrible at their job, first of all, so they just keep joking about people killing themselves as like, we missed that one. And it's like, whoa. And like this Job kind of thing where it's like every bad thing keeps happening, and it's like we're trying to beat the crap out of our main characters at every single turn, and it's so funny. I also commented right away that they're leaning into Christmas in California is so weird.
Yes.
And it really is. Like, I've been here 10 plus years now, and I still have a hard time wrapping. I didn't have white Christmases in the Pacific Northwest. Like, it didn't snow. Like, we didn't have, I think there's like 1 year when there was snow on the ground on Christmas Day. Yeah. If it snows in like January, February anyway.
March. Yeah.
But still, palm trees on Christmas is just weird. Like, I will often go to the beach on Christmas just because it's so weird. 1 year we actually went to Mexico for Christmas. Nice. Like before the baby was old enough to care. I think Pierce was 2. Anyway, so I what did I write down? They don't have a touch tone phone. Oh,
they have a rotary dial phone.
Yeah. I love that.
It's
the next note that I wrote down was, oh my God, I love Madeline Kahn.
She is so good in this.
I can't, every time I think of her, I can't think about anything but the line in Clue when she goes, and I'm so angry. There's flames, burnt, hot. I kill. She is glorious.
She's so
like
good.
When she gets locked in the elevator and she goes, like her face, help. And then she starts rapping to the God damn it, that woman is so funny. And then so the moral of this whole story apparently is sex solves everything, because when she gets laid, she's not the horrible Scroogey kind of person that she was before. And then Steve Martin and who's the female? Rita Wilson, the two of them. Yeah. So it's also a sexy movie.
It's a sexy movie. And it's loud.
So,
it's
okay,
fast.
so I'm gonna
amazing.
I'm gonna take a slight detour to just the things you have to notice in modern times, right? There are movies and shows that you love as a kid, and then you watch them with someone as an adult in nowadays time, and you're like, oh, this movie's kind of racist, and I didn't remember that. And I find it, first of all, Liev Schreiber is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And
I watched this as my get the theater together last year. I've been wanting to get the whole I work at this theater. I want to get us all together. Now we have a lot of transgendered stagehands at the theater, and I'm sitting there in the thing, and I'm like,
uh-oh.
This is from the 90s.
Yeah, my butthole's tightening up. Uh-oh.
And I think it was like, and then my friend turns to me and she's like, am I going to be okay? And I'm like, and now I'm scanning.
You're playing the movie forward. And you're like, no.
I actually think you're still safe.
Yeah. So the implication, the things that I was going to point out is that the first implication is trans people are most likely a serial killer. That's the first thing. Is there's hints that that person might be the strangler or whatever, right?
There's a serial killer.
But then they kind of eliminate that as soon as you start to get to know the character. But the thing that I noticed is, okay, so this is a story about making your characters suffer, right? Like you're making your characters go through horrible experience and laughing at their suffering. The suffering of Steve Martin is the fact that he has to dance with a trans woman. And that was the part of it that was like, oh, okay, that is the thing that people point out when they say there is entrenched. The end of Ace Ventura is an even more obvious, blatant example, which is like, oh, the most horrible thing I could ever imagine is kissing this person who I thought was a woman or whatever. And in this, you look at that and you're like, there was a time. I tried to go back and watch Dodgeball. You remember that movie?
Ish. I don't think I saw it.
I remember finding that movie hilarious, and everybody else found it hilarious. And I went back and watched it. I couldn't watch 15 minutes because it is nonstop gay jokes. And the joke is gay people exist. Ooh, you're gay, or you gay. I'm not gay. You're gay. That's the joke. There's just it was a lazy time in humor because we knew we could just say gay and people would go, and that's not funny. That's just poking at something that makes people feel something and they giggle nervously. Nervous laughter is not because it's funny. So it was interesting. Now, I will say that the punchline of the story is it turns out Liev Schreiber is very helpful and is a nice character and falls in love with Adam Sandler, who is also in this movie, basically playing his characters from Saturday Night Live.
Well, and what's weird, though, is even in the, 94, when this, so they wrote it before then, and then that's when it was put out. They're actually kind of ahead of their time in their treatment of this character.
Because they're like, okay, he's initially put off by it, but then and then even Steve Martin in the dance starts really getting into it, and then the whole thing is like, oh my god, I can't believe you were dancing with that person, and he's like, no, I was just helping them. So it's this flabbergasted, like the suffering is this, you have to interact with this human being. And
except no one else treats that person like they're all that different.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. They're just mad
in the rest
that
of the movie. Yeah.
Dancing with someone else because they're attracted to Steve Martin.
Yeah.
And that's a betrayal and not. It's very fascinating for
That's
94.
True. Yeah. Well, and the point is that at the end of the story, it turns out, oh, this is a good person and there's nothing wrong with them, and they should be accepted too. So I get that it's kind-hearted in the end, and it's interesting that is not a thing that would fly today. You couldn't make the joke, the fact that at least you couldn't paint it that way. You'd have to paint your main character as, or it would have to be a bigoted character that you were making suffer because they're bad. But Steve Martin's supposed to be our sympathetic protagonist.
Yeah, but the other thing is that they put the peak of the person's narcissism turn, realizing that they're only good over the phone and they're not good with real people, in that dance and in that moment. It's kind of interesting. Yeah.
And again, I will say Steve Martin ended up enjoying it. So that is a progressive point, and the fact that in the end that was not, Leah's character was not the strangler and ended up falling in love with the really sweet scene when Adam Sandler's singing that song, and it turns out that her name begins with a C or a K too. So like that was so sweet.
It's so adorable and funny. And okay, do we want to give away the guest stars that you don't see?
Well, can I throw one out and see if I got one of them? Mm-hmm. So I don't know if it's his first movie, but Haley Joel Osment is in this movie.
Yes.
Okay, you did see that.
So Jon Stewart's
says,
slightly
it's
obvious.
Santa or whatever.
Yeah, Haley Joel Osment. Okay, these are gonna be, so the people who call in. You've got Stephen Wright, the comedian.
Oh, I did not notice that. But now that you mention it, I know exactly which one it is.
There's Mary Gross, who does a lot of voiceover stuff. She was in this movie, Feds, and was hilarious in it with, again, Saturday's names. So there's a funny female FBI agents thing. One of them's more athletic and the other's smart. Mary Gross probably is a smart person. Mary Gross is on the phone. She's a comedian who's awesome. Carrie Fisher is one of the
Really? She was one of them.
I think Carrie Fisher is actually the police station hold voice. Press to this number to da 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 da. So Carrie Fisher is in there, but not listed. But that's Carrie Fisher. Her sister Jolie Fisher is the one who dumps Steve.
Oh, okay.
I don't care about Jolie Fisher that much, but
that was a weird unfinished plot line too, that she shows back up and is like, I think I've made a horrible mistake, and then they're like, he's taking a bath with do you need to hang around? No. And then you never hear from her again, and I was like waiting for that storyline to be wrapped up, but I guess that was the end. There are other beautiful people who show up, but I got a couple more points before we wrap up. So one thought was, how much better would coaching, the kind of work that we do, hypnosis and that sort of thing, be if there was a soundtrack that we could play all the time, like that was perfectly AI tailored? Because the end of the movie, when Steve Martin gets up and gives that speech and convinces him not to kill himself, I'm listening to that and I'm like, 90% of this is the music in the background. 90% of the why we're feeling this and that it's working is because of the music in the background. Well, I know that Richard Bandler used to do that, by the way. He used to have musical cues set up while he was doing hypnosis with people. Usually when I watch this movie, it's Christmas Eve, because that's where it's set on Christmas Eve. I watch it on Christmas Eve. Midnight. I'm usually alone these days. I used to gather people and mixed nuts, you have to watch it.
So there have been a lot of years where I've just finished the nutcracker season of theater, tech work, 12, 13, 14 hours a day, nonstop children, blah, blah, barfing, clean up the vomit, everybody do things, right? And then it's just like, I've got like 3 days of just dropping back into my life. I'm exhausted. And then there's this speech at the end of the movie. And it's like, you are not sad because your life is awful. You're sad because it's Christmas. And I'm in that like, I am sad. Every year I was like, oh, everything is fine.
Steve Martin gets me.
And then they play it out with what's her name? Carly Simon. If you could go from like a beautifully monologue over beautiful music that tells you that your life is okay, and then have Carly Simon sing you out every year.
So wait, hold on. I wrote down something. Is the credits song Michael Jackson?
No.
You sure?
It's Carly Simon.
Okay. I could be first of all, you definitely know better than me when it comes to that, but I was like, I wrote down Michael Jackson theme song, mixed nuts.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Hold on, I'm looking here. Santa Christmas. Baby, Blue Christmas, Mixed Nuts. Okay, Night Before Christmas, written and performed by Carly Simon. I think you're right. Yay. Yeah. So does Carly Simon sound like Michael Jackson? Apparently. Or am I just completely crazy?
She's a kind of a lower voice.
What in the hell? All right.
Night before Christmas. That's all.
Grape Jelly, written, arranged, and performed by Adam Sandler.
Oh,
okay.
It's such a good movie.
So one final point that I got to run is so the character accidentally kills the landlord. And then I wrote down, and then it turns out that it's the strangler, and so they give her a reward, and she doesn't go to jail. And I was like, "Is that how murder works? Like, if they're already a criminal that you didn't know about, then it's fine to kill them because, like, due process and judge and jury and all that kind of stuff. Like, nah, whatever. Here's $250,000, and you don't have to go to jail. It's fine."
Yeah. Well, in the Old West, that's how it was.
Yeah. I'm genuinely asking, is that how murder works? I wasn't sure. If you accidentally kill someone who happens to be a serial killer, does that mean you have no consequences for that?
I think it might be the case that some prosecutors, depending on the politics, might not. Do they still have rewards for things? Do they still put out financial rewards for things?
I do think that happens once in a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Suddenly christened a bounty hunter, and they just sort of accidentally.
It did feel like the end when all those good things happen, that there is such a like Hollywood cliche of like, and you win the lottery, and you get this, and you get the girl, and everything works out, all happy ending. Goodbye, everyone.
Plus a parade march.
Right.
Parade march. I don't know. It's yeah. I don't.
But it was delightful. Like I definitely enjoyed the movie, and I totally get your noises off reference that it's just what is it? Screwball comedy? Is that what it's called?
Slapstick. Screwball.
Is that the name?
Yeah.
Rat Race, I think, is another famous example of that.
Yes. Yeah. Do they make those kind of movies anymore?
No.
I'm told that I'm supposed to watch Game Night. Oh. And maybe Game Night is very like that.
It was all right. It didn't blow me away. It had some funny moments, but it like watch The Man Who Knew Too Little.
Okay.
If you want a screwball comedy that's actually really good, I'm always nervous to say that because then you're gonna watch it and be like, what the hell is wrong with you? But for me, I really enjoyed that movie. And on that note, I do got to run.
Alrighty. So, good luck with your rest of your Saturday.
So TV deeply, everyone. And we will come back and I guess we'll discuss our assignments before our next show.
Thanks for being here.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.